Hey everybody, just wanted to do a quick video. Nothing too big. Just with these fires raging on, you see a lot of these kind of YouTubers talking about rebuilding and thing, and um, I guess just wanted to react quickly to this video, because a lot of these videos you see are coming from, you know, agents and people that, for example, Kevin just, you know, tried to get into the high-end real estate game, but let's see what they have to say, and we'll see.
How long do you think it's going to take to actually rebuild all of that area in LA? Because I know specifically with the Thomas Fire in Ventura, our house took about 3.5 years to build.
Yep.
And a lot of the insurance companies, the kind of standard rate is that they'll float you for temporary rent
Not
for
that long.
2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 2 years is how much they'll do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, which
very,
is true.
very few
Insurance
people,
rates are pretty
especially
crazy.
if 10,000 plus structures are burned down, every contractor is
I
going to...
think one thing to know is just that a lot of the main damage that happened in the fire was towards the rich area. So, the media keeps saying, oh, the house is burned, the house is burned. Yes, there was areas that are, I want to say, lower income, but most of the houses that burnt down were in, like, nice areas. Specifically the Palisade Fire, all that area you're looking at, vacation homes, the people I worked with, it was like the third, fourth, fifth home in Malibu. So, the media's trying to spin this whole narrative of, oh, poor people, poor people. No. I think 90% of where the fires are happening is all the rich areas, which is, it is sad that they lost their homes, but also, they don't have to worry about, where they're going to live, things of that nature. There is other areas like Altadena, which is much base lower income, but still it's not a poor section of LA. If this fire would have happened somewhere like Linwood, Compton, then yeah, you'd have a very even worse situation, because some of these individuals in these lower areas are lower income. But a lot of this fire, if you look at the map, it's happening in Malibu, Palisades, areas where you have $80 million, $100 million homes. So there goes another thing they're talking about, is like constructability, right? Yeah, it's gonna be more than 3 years if you hire a good contractor, to build something. If you have a 10,000 square foot home that burnt, it's gonna take you at least 5-6 years to build it, and that comes with the hubris of these people. They can easily build smaller, but what are they gonna do? They're gonna build bigger.
going to be spread thin.
Yep.
They're going to be like trying to work multiple sites at one time. You have all these subcontractors that are going to be busy.
And it was never, the economy of the housing market in LA was never about there being enough contractors. There's a lot of contractors, a lot of good contractors, big contracting firms that specifically work in the Palisades area. So you're not going to get these like mom and pop contractors all of a sudden starting to build multi-million-dollar homes. No. So the market's already kind of niched and cut out for like a specific contractor group. You'll have maybe a couple of new ones that'll come in and help, but a lot of this, there's enough contractors and labor to work. Maybe not the subcontractors; those are a little, but that's going to be, I mean, a lot of labor for them, a lot of work.
All of the permitting process, like that's going to be super, super busy.
Permitting. So permitting for these buildings doesn't take that long. If they're properly documented and properly constructed, and you got the right engineers, the right architects, everything. Permitting is actually pretty easy, especially after COVID. A lot of the permitting process in LADB, the LA Department of Building, has gone online. Like before, it's not like the old days where you had to physically take a giant floor plans and everything, meet with the plan checker. So everything's been streamlined more since COVID. So it's a lot easier. And there's also, we use Bluebeam, which is like a PDF documentation where you can upload online. You can set up a session where you can have a live Zoom chat with the permitter, and then they'll go over permits and you can fix things like that. So permitting is easier. Where you run in trouble with permitting is not, it's when you let a GC go through the permitting, because the GC is not a registered architect or registered engineer, right? So they're going to gather all these documents and try to submit it to the permit. Obviously, it's better. I guess I'm biased, but it's better to have an architect. So all these people that are going to start building, hire an architect because an architect is a representative of the client. So if anything goes wrong in the building process, the architect can tell the GC, hey, what are you doing? So basically, an architect, my mentor used to say, architect becomes a babysitter and an archivist. One, babysitter because they will babysit the contractors, the subs, to make sure that the building is being built properly. If you hire just a GC, who are the person building the property for you, do you trust them? Second, the archivist part, we're like the keepers of all the information, permits, plans, everything. Like, we know where to find it.
I have no idea how this is going to get resolved. How long do you think it's going to take for it to get back to normal?
2030.
2030. That's a no. Consider the infrastructure and things like that nature. That's way too small. I think for a fully rebuilt area in Palisades, again, I've been working with these people. They're gonna want to go bigger, and they're gonna want to have design way better.
2030.
Yeah, because LA is notoriously slow with everything, and the magnitude of this damage is so.
Just in perspective, one permit that we did was 25,000 square feet. This was back before COVID. The company I worked for, we got it approved in, I think it was less than a month. One of the main things that people can also use is permit expediters, right? So permit expediters is essentially they know people in the departments, right? They have connections inside the doesn't mean they'll get approved, but they have easier access to the people submitting permits, and oftentimes you can get it approved way quicker. They'll go for you and sit in. They're pretty expensive though. I think the ones we were using were about $200 an hour. So if they go for an hour just to talk to the permit guy, boom, you charge $200 an hour. But we did get that permit approved, structure, MEP, everything, architectural, green, coastal, within a month. So that was nice. Not building it, that took way longer because there was change. Our boss liked to change everything, so we had to resubmit.
So much that I think probably what will happen is they're going to try to rewrite building codes first before they get anyone through to try.
And that's one thing I don't agree on. I don't think they're going to rewrite building codes. See, building codes don't change that often because, one, they're like OSHA. They're built in blood. So building code's main function is to protect the public. So it gives a blueprint for, say, an architect. It's going to design a building. It gives you how many fire exits you need. It gives you building standards for fire-rated walls. None of that's going to change. I think what he meant to say was maybe like the zoning, right? Zoning. So zoning controls what you can build and can't build in LA, right? Right now, zoning is pretty crazy. That's why you see a lot of these single-family homes. A lot of the NYMB is fighting against higher density buildings. So that's why you go to Malibu, you rarely see any like multi-story apartments, right? Or downtown LA, you see a lot of unused land where there's warehouses. That's all zoning. So I think that's what he meant, the zoning. Building codes, no. So there's a standard. You have the International Building Code, which is if you want to look up how to build a house, you go International Building Code. The second to that would be the California Building Code, CBC, and you guys can find this online. There's it's free information. So usually International Building Code is what we build to, and CBC is more California Building Code is more standardized for a particular region. But then you also have to get approved if you're going to build in Malibu by coastal. So there's a coastal permit and things of that nature. So I think what Kevin meant was zoning regulations and zoning laws, zoning codes might change, but building code won't change.
Hopefully, to mitigate the issues of these the way hydrants are built, the way reservoirs are built, and hopefully they figure all of that out right this time, correctly.
So that's another thing that a lot of the media is getting wrong. The hydrants worked. So the issue was not the hydrants or the lack of water. What happened was that the hydrants all work in a joint system, right? Yes, there could be new improvements to it, right? What ended up happening was and it's actually a good thing for California how they handled it or how their infrastructure handled it, because there were so many fires so quick, the hydrants were being accessed by like something like crazy, like 200 fire engines at once, which caused a high load on the system, something that hadn't been seen before, something the engineers probably didn't think of, right? They might have thought a little fire here, there, but like a big fire at once. And that's what caused the system to overload, low pressure. That's what people are saying. There's no water in the fire hydrants and things of that nature. I'll post a video in the description describing more of that. But yes, there could be improvements to it, but the fire hydrants worked as they intended. The water part, that there was the aquifer or reservoir in Palisades that was empty. That is a whole nother video. But yeah, I agree with that part.
Yeah, I mean, I think to what you're saying, the market demand is going to be insane.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet for contractors, but in 2 years, it's going to be good business to be a contractor there.
And on top of that, we noticed during our rebuild process that it probably cost between 35 and 50% more
Sure.
during the fire rebuild, because
Everybody's
in the Thomas fire,
Yeah,
it was like
they were raising
1,000 structures, I
prices,
think,
gouging
burnt down.
people,
But in this, so
making
far,
a
it's
profit.
10,000, 10 times
So
the
you gotta
amount.
hire
And
architects.
I just think like overwhelmingly,
You go to
people are gonna
GC, you're
really
basically
struggle,
succumbing to their
if Biden
pricing.
says, or I guess eventually Trump helps and bails them out, because there have been, I mean, he did say that he was going to help and float for like 6 months.
It's not going to do anything. Yeah, it's. I mean, I wish the Biden administration was already doing more. It seems like Trump is talking more about what's going on in California than Biden is. I mean,
Well,
I
Biden's
think a
out
lot of
in,
people.
like,
I'm not
2
trying to
weeks.
sound anti-Biden. I know
A
everybody
week.
does say that later. I definitely anti-Newsom. I will say that. Definitely anti-Newsom. That's why I ran against him for governor. But yeah, the government can help. But unfortunately, I don't know that government will be able to muster it, just because trying to take this, what's going to be a 5 or 6 year process, and try to streamline it, align it.
Well, why should government help, right? I agree. Government should help if you meet a certain threshold, right, of income, right? If you're 2 software engineers making 250 grand a year, obviously your insurance is going to cover the majority of it, right? But why should government step in and help Malibu, Palisades, multi-million-dollar homes, right? They have the money, they have the liquidity to rebuild again. That should be an issue between the people, I mean, or the Malibu, the owners, and their insurance company, right? I think what Newsom, or what should happen I think, I haven't read if it has, is that there should be protections in place in case the insurance doesn't want to meet their kind of end of the bargain, right? That should be what's happening. Government should rebuild what's going to rebuild, which is its infrastructure, the roads, all that other good stuff. In terms of the home itself, if it really is a family that needs, help rebuilding, then yeah, it should be there. But if it's another $80 million home, there shouldn't be any government help for that. Besides maybe the cost of connections for water or future connections. And actually, after the last fire, I believe, what year was it? 2018, 19, 20, I forget. There was a fire before in LA. There was actually another recommended code thing added to the code, but especially in that coastal area, was you had to put exterior sprinklers on these homes by the ocean, on the hills. So I don't know what happened to that. I haven't heard anything about that.
It's going to get tied up in all of the red tape that people like Gavin Newsom say they can solve, and they just never do. So it's unfortunate, but I want to.
But we would trust Kevin, right? To build California.
Talk about another byproduct that you just brought up. It's not just contracting prices that are going to go up, it's rents that are going to skyrocket. For all the normal people in LA, now there are fewer apartments available. There are fewer single-family homes available. So anybody who...
Okay, that's an error too. Not really. Remember, these areas are upper income areas. It is true that rent's going to go up, mostly because I think a lot of, and not even, I don't think a lot of these people that live here, do you think they're going to go live in Compton? Do you think they're going to go live in Linwood in these poor areas? No, they're not going to go down there. The people, over there, and even rent's expensive. I think when I was in, was it Southgate? We were paying like $16.50 for a garage. So I doubt all these people are gonna go move to Compton and Linwood. I mean, that'd be great. No, it wouldn't be great because it would like increase the rent there, right? But they're not gonna go to those areas. More than likely, they're gonna stick to like that upper 10 free. What's it 10? I forget. I haven't been in LA for a while. Yeah, they're gonna stick to the upper areas, the richer areas, Pasadena, all that area. They're not gonna go down to the poor areas.
Who wants to renew their lease?
I live there. I tell you, I never saw rich folk down there.
Now, or move into LA because they got a job. I wouldn't be surprised if you see rents go up 20% in all of LA. Heck,
Yeah,
that
I
could
think
hurt our
20% is
international or
probably
our nationwide
feasible.
inflation
It
numbers.
was
For
interesting. Jason Oppenheim shared a story
The
on
upper
Instagram that,
echelon, upper income.
the client showed up
workers.
to a rental listing, just an average listing,
Yeah.
nothing special. There are 20 people outside.
Oh, yeah.
20 people
Sure.
were outside.
Yeah. Well, people lost
every
their
one of
homes.
his listings, he has a listing for $13,350. $13,500 a month.
Wow,
Got
that's-
offered $20,000 a month.
And see what I mean? Like even what's his name? I always forget his name. He himself is saying it here, right? He's calling out who's renting, who's gonna rent. Is the people that can afford at 13,000, 20,000. How many people do you know? House burns down and they can afford $20,000 rent. Not many people. It just gives you a perspective on who the victims are in the fire, right? Not to diminish their pain and anything of that sort, but we're not talking about me or you who are making what I don't even know how much I make, like 80,000 a year, right? No, it's not us. So like it is an issue, but I guess it's not affecting the rest of the people.
a month for it. 6 months up front. The owner wants more.
There you go. Yeah. So, and that's
Which
that's
is
gonna
capitalism,
every single
right? He's
person
gonna
was like, okay,
choose more.
my house.
And it's been happening to everybody in lower income areas. Like, people, when you go rent a house, even in Southgate, you had to provide at least 3 months of rent, right? So it just that now these other sector of the economy is feeling what the majority of people have been feeling for years now.
Is either burning down, going to burn down, or burn down over the last 2 or 3 days. The first thing they do is, okay, where am I going to live? I'm not going to live out of a hotel in a suitcase. So Zillow.com, look at the rentals, or Redfin, or whatever, right? And exactly what you're saying is what
Maybe
you
we're
expect.
like,
Now, then this is where things get interesting, because then the political idea is, okay, well, all those people are price gouging. They're being greedy. Or then the flip side of the argument is, well, there's a shortage of available housing. What does that go back to? Oh, well, it goes back, again, to politics. We just don't build enough. So,
Yeah,
prices
that's
will
true.
skyrocket.
Now, this is interesting. The Senate Budget Committee recently said this is predicted to cascade into plunging property values in communities where insurance becomes impossible to find or prohibitively expensive. A collapse in property values with the potential to trigger a full-scale financial crisis similar to what happened in 2008. What are your thoughts on this? It might be a bit extreme.
So, which
But-
Republican wrote that?
I actually don't think it's going to cause the plummet in property values, because the property values that we're seeing are all these high-end homes, right? They might go down 2-3%, right? But a lot of these people have multiple homes in the areas, so in a way, it's an parked investment, right? You buy the home as an investment. You probably sell it down the line, pass it on with Prop 13, things of that nature. So property values in these areas, I don't think are going to go down that much. Just look at it. Was it Florida or Miami, where the insurance also pulled out because of flooding and hurricanes and all that? Values are still high, right? So if the market is there, especially for Malibu, Palisades, it's not going to do anything to the property values.
Yeah, that's that I would say that is far fetched, mostly because at some point, when insurance becomes impossible to get, at some point the political leash, if you will loosen, and people will enter the insurance market. It's always how it
Yep.
works. The
He's
price
right.
goes up high enough for insurance.
agree with
that
Kevin on that.
insurability becomes an option again. I mean, look. You could literally start an insurance company today. Hey, we'll do all the insurance in LA.
And a
Whoever's
lot of
having trouble getting insurance, we'll do an
my
insurance
boss
company.
and a lot of people that I knew that
And
were living in Malibu,
You
like
just securitize the
they
risk
weren't going to your
by
standard State Farm
selling it on the
insurance.
market. Hey, who
There's
wants
specific
10% yield
insurances
on a
for
bond for this high-risk
upper
insurance company?
income
People will
people
buy
that
it as part of their
we
portfolio.
don't even use.
Yeah,
right?
calling
So
them
they're not.
catastrophe bonds.
They're
Have you seen
more
these?
insurance
There
is
you
more
go.
of like
Yeah.
assets,
It's already
not
already a thing
specifically
now.
a home, but overall assets.
Exactly. So people will always be able to diversify away their risk.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see property values plunging. In fact,
Yep.
But this is an area
Exactly what I
that
said.
you can't get insurance, or insurance is so expensive.
yeah. Well, I mean, some of those
Yeah, but
areas,
they
like
can
the
afford it.
coastline of Malibu, those are 10, $20 million homes.
Thank
sometimes even
you.
more.
See, he said it.
Of course, insurance is going to be prohibitively expensive there because they're either going to fall into the ocean or going to burn down again, potentially,
Yeah.
right? But people want to live there. So somebody
Exactly.
will pay those exorbitant
Thank you,
fees.
Kevin.
And then again, people will risk it
Yeah.
away.
Well, this also says many residents of the Pacific Palisades are reporting that they have no property insurance because insurance companies no longer provide coverage for real estate in the highly priced and high-risk areas.
Right, yeah, because even the California Fair Plan has a limit of how much they'll cover. I think it's $3 million per home is the limit that they'll cover. Some
That
of
is
those homes are
true,
$3 million
but
homes.
they
So,
have other means
yeah,
of
that's
insurance
possible that
because
people
of
have just
the
entirely
high
dropped their
value of their
coverage.
homes.
State Farm
So they'll
announced their
use
non-renewals
other
in
types of
March,
insurance to
Right.
cover
which
the
means
super
March
high-end homes.
is
So it's
10
not your
months
typical
ago,
State Farm
which
insurance.
means 10 out of 12, what is that? Over 80%, 85% of insurance policies have probably lapsed, assuming an
Mm-hmm.
equal amount of dispersion there, that not everybody's renewing in lumps. So in English, most of those policies, the State Farm ones, have lapsed. If they couldn't find other coverage, they've gone to California Fair or have been uninsured.
Yeah.
They're screwed.
In this case,
terrible.
it was 69.4% of the Pacific Palisades
69?
got dropped.
Yeah.
0.4. It would be funny.
State Farm.
69.4.
Yeah, exactly. That's State Farm.
Was
yeah.
Again, the number seems high, but let's think about this. These are like $10 million homes, $20 million homes. At this point in the game, they're assets, right? So a lot of these, it's not even if the insurance got dropped, it's like your typical insurance. So a lot of these high-end clients we worked with were, I want to say not business savvy. Well, obviously, yeah, they make millions, but they have so many means and methods to protect their assets. So they're claiming that and specific in Palisades that they didn't have insurance. I call BS on that. I'm pretty sure they had other means and methods to protect their assets. Nobody's gonna buy $100 million home and just no insurance, no way to protect it in case of any accident. So that's where I call BS.
was dropped.
Yeah. Yeah. So exactly. So their choices are you either go to a different carrier, if you can get it, pay the higher fees, or you go to California Fair, or you self-insure. Self-insure obviously would be catastrophic at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Allstate, too, announced plans. This was in November of 2022. Pause new homeowners, condo, and commercial insurance policies in California.
Maybe I
to
should start
protect current
posting
customers.
design stuff for that area, right?
Tens of millions of dollars.
Use
of
my
homes
power of
that-
design to
that
design
are not insured at all.
great
like, I saw there was like
homes.
a $30 million home.
Let's
listed
let's
on
get
Zillow
let's
that
make this
burnt
year
down
the year
in the
to end
fire.
contractor
All these
design.
Crazy expensive homes that are not insured at all. What is there?
They're probably insured. At that
And scary.
level-
I remember
you have to-
we're here in Hammond. We had
It's
a
not like
fire
you
in
have to.
Idlewild.
It's
And
like when
I
you
remember I was
have
working
a
from
$30
home and
million
you just
home,
see
your net worth is
red
probably
everywhere, right?
So you're self-insured?
Everybody's telling us to
$250 million
evacuate things, and I
plus.
felt that pressure too.
They're
like,
having insurance.
you want to
There's no
leave,
way
but then
those
it's your
people
home, right? What
wouldn't
do you
have
do?
insurance.
So I think I
My
called the
understanding
insurance
is
and was
if
like,
you're
"Hey,
that high net
there's a
worth, you
fire around
basically
here.
have anything
Am I covered?"
because
And
the
luckily
insurance
we
companies
were
can
up
cater
to
to what you want.
what it covered at that
very
moment was still
customizable policies
greater
because you're
than what we
spending so
bought this
much
home
money.
for, right?
They might spend $200,000 a year on insurance.
Yeah.
An insurance company will make that happen.
Yep.
Well, I'll give an example just to make an insurance comparison. So, I own a plane. The cost to insure my plane is $30,000 a year
Nice. That's not bad.
with 2 professional phenom rated pilots. I am a brand new pilot. I've got 100 hours. I've landed a plane, 300 times, a little single engine Cirrus with a parachute. In order to be the second pilot with a professional pilot who's flown for 2,000 hours or whatever, my insurance policy goes from $30,000 a year and 10 companies want to offer us insurance to one company wants to offer us insurance, and that'll be $130,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Just the
like you
liability,
say,
right?
and like I was, you can insure anything. How much you want to pay?
Exactly.
So yeah.
To my point. So, yeah, guys, that was my quick little video on this. I just found this interesting. It came up on my feed. Like I said, it is devastating for a lot of the people that lost their homes, and I do feel bad for them. But also, I think there should be this transparency of information of who lost their homes and who they are, right? While the media is portraying this sad story throughout everything, I think we should see it through a clear lens, right? There's two sides to this. There's the super wealthy that have lost their homes that are probably gonna be okay, probably have some secret insurance. They're gonna pay for stuff, right? And then there's the other areas like Altadena, which you have a more variety of people that maybe some don't have the money to rebuild. And I think there's going to be a lot of talk and hearsay in the media of like building codes, but no, I think I want to be clear that building codes protect the people, right? I think what people need to talk about is the zoning codes, things of that nature. And yes, I agree there should be a faster process to help people get permits to build, right? But also we have to be very cautious of that quicker process, that it doesn't inherently cause fatal flaws down the line where everything got approved so fast that they didn't take the time to look at the plans. But I think the public should rest assured that if you hire an architect or engineers, where we study the building codes and things of that nature, like just be rest assured that your house is going to be built properly. I don't know about whether GCs the design, I don't know about that, right? But they have to meet a certain criteria when submitting permits, that you have rated walls, smoke barriers, etc. So the problem is not the building code; it's the red tape, as Kevin mentioned, and zoning laws and things of that nature. Also, a lot of these rich areas or a lot of these areas don't want multi family residential projects, right? That's why they've been fighting for years to keep zoning the way it is, because they want single family homes. So I think it's about time that we start looking at that. I mean, there's examples all over the world of excellent projects that go into this. Give me a second, be back. Alright, sorry, I know where I left off. Anyways, yep, sad. I'll probably keep an eye out for more clips like this. But hopefully, the process and transition into a newer area is going to be a lot smoother for California. So people shouldn't be too scared. Overall, the building process is relatively slow, but it's gotten faster because of technology and things of that nature. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. How should the development be? I'm pretty saddened by all the burning, right? But also, there's a sense of optimism of what can possibly be done in the future, better design, better things of that nature to probably help get the coast back, right? If you go through Malibu before, all the coast was blocked by house and house and house and house. So there's important issues and environmental issues that are going to be brought up in these newer phases as California begins to rebuild these portions. We've yet to see if it's going to be for the better or for the good, so I don't know. But let me know. Click and subscribe down below. Let me know what other topics you guys want to cover in terms of architecture, lifting, things of that nature, news. There's a couple of videos coming out online that I'm working on. Just got to do some research in terms of architecture reviews. And, well, yeah, have a good day, everybody.